Ron Simon's Thoughts, Everyday Guy, Everyday Thoughts. Hey, today I decided we're sitting in my Jayco Pinnacle RV that I live full time, and I happen you need to do maintenance. It's just like having a house. You have to do maintenance on dusting, all that fun stuff that you need to do. So right now we're that scares me right there. That beeping. We're right now with clean. I keep on
Kleen
saying that.
Tank.
Kleen Tank. How hard is that? I'm with Kleen Tank right now. What we're doing, I'm talking about. Hey, how do your maintenance on your black tank, your gray tank, and so forth. There's a lot of mistakes that people make. I'm even clear. I make mistakes as well. So I'm always looking for advice and seeing what we could do. And it's kind of nice that you get a professional that comes out to you, cleans your tank, and really gives you little ins and outs of how to maintain your tanks and all that. So I'm going to pass you over to him, and he's going to talk a little. We don't shoot back and forth of little maintenance things that will probably save you a lot of money. So take it away.
Yeah, well, as Tony says, I work for Kleen Tank. Actually, I own the dealership here for Central California, and my name is Tim. And yeah, he's right. You need to be doing regular maintenance on your black tanks and gray tanks. People kind of always think about their black tanks, but I think most people don't actually really think about their gray tanks. And I do full time in an RV myself. Travel up and down the Central California area, lining up jobs, and so we do go in a certain area. We'll work for a week or two, then while I'm lining up jobs for other areas and going there. But the biggest probably problem that I see is people leaving their tanks open, especially the black tanks. And I know many of you have probably heard of the dreaded poop pyramid, but it is a real thing. The advice obviously given that, oh yeah, just leave it open, it'll drain out. But you understand that your RV toilet isn't like your sticks and bricks toilet, which has 2 or 3 gallons in it to help push everything down a slope going down into your sewage. That you get maybe a third, at most a half a gallon coming out of your RV tank, and it goes into a flat holding tank with only a slight slope on it, and the water runs off but the poop stays, and it builds up. I just did one this morning up in North Highlands. They've been leaving it open, and obviously a big clog came out, and to get everything clean there, it took about 3.5 hours of work to get that thing flowing and functioning right. But people don't really understand why they should not leave their gray tanks closed. And he was having an issue with it open when the black stuff was coming out. It wasn't just migrating down the hose what was coming out. It was also coming over and going up into his gray tank as well, because they're on an even field there. The thing was backing up into there, so I was getting brown out of his gray tank. But
some of you guys don't know what we're really talking about. Gray tank is your freshwater tank, your regular drinking tank.
Well, freshwater tank is actually a separate
Thank you.
system from that, but your shower and your kitchen galleys are your gray tanks, and they're not supposed to be holding poop in there.
No.
But when you leave them open, I don't think a lot of people understand that there are critters that come out of the septic system. When you get your summer flies coming up there, those are coming and breeding in your gray tanks, and if you leave them open, they're going to come up there and do that. But if you can leave them closed, and we get everything fresh and clean there, you can kill it, get all the eggs out of there, get everything killed. And if you leave it closed, then they're not going to come back in there. But you also get cockroaches that can come out from the septic system. You get, I've seen ants crawling up the top side of the pipe, going on up and in. So a lot of things can come out, and just leaving them closed. If we use our solution, which has basically Pine Sol and Calgon bath pearls, the Pine Sol can disinfect and keep your mold levels down in your gray tanks. And I don't think a lot of people understand how bad that gray mold and the black mold is even worse. I had a lady over in Pinot, I just did hers after 7 months because she wants it every 6-7 months done. She called me up the next day after I cleaned her tanks out the first time. It was the first night that she'd had of sleep where she didn't have headaches and bad allergy symptoms because we got the black mold cleaned out of that gray tank that we'd been building up. And so keeping them closed and keeping a good disinfectant in there will kill off that black mold and keep it from coming back in, because you don't really, you can smell that gray mold there because, oh, I got a bad smell, but you don't really smell the black mold. And so regular maintenance of your tanks will keep that clean, and then we'll educate you on how to maintain that in between our annual cleanings.
And the cleaning is, it's not like he's pouring a lot of solution in there. You're literally, what I saw is almost like putting a cord all the way up there,
Yes.
having a power wash that cleans the side of the thing. Is that correct?
Yeah, we jet it out at 1500 psi. So when black mold gets firmly established in a tank and starts building up, you can't just wash that out. You have to scour that out. And same thing with if you're not taking good care of your black tanks and not using enough water, or you're leaving them open, that urine actually begins to harden up on the floor, and actually it sinks down and accumulates behind your valve and that part of the pipe, and it can cause constriction of your pipe, which can lead to obviously less flow going out, but it also makes it more susceptible to clogging issues when you do that. And the only way to get struvite out of your tank is just like an ultrasound on a kidney. It's got to be high pressure, like with it, to break it up. It won't just wash out. You can't just dissolve it and get it out there. It has to be broken up. But our process gets those tanks back to factory fresh, and most of the time it'll get the sensors cleaned up and functioning again, which people think that using pods in your tank and stuff to break up the poop is a good idea, but if it's a septic system, that'd be good. But in a holding tank, the heavy sediment falls to the bottom, lighter stuff on top, and it's just gravity feed. It pulls out the light stuff, and the heavy stuff tends to stay there, and it builds up. And if you're traveling at all, it can jiggle around like jelly, and it can slide, and it can totally plug up your port going out, and then you got a clog and you can't use your tank. But it can develop a pretty bad stink over time too. So proper maintenance, getting your tanks cleaned out, even if you don't use our solution, which we give you the recipe to make, just use lots of water, because you want everything to float and go out, not fall to the bottom and stick and stay there.
And I understand we don't want to use water because we think we have to change the tank and drain it all the time. I know personally we do it once a week, and that's probably way earlier than we need to, because it probably holds at least 2 weeks when my wife's not here. But usually it holds 2 weeks. But the thing is, one of my biggest mistakes is toilet paper. That's not a good thing, right? What do you think? Half and half.
We've done a lot of study actually on this, and we find that actually the RV toilet paper is actually some of the worst stuff you can put in there, besides this bamboo stuff they got nowadays. I had a lady that she clogged it up in 3 months, and I came back. I didn't do that one, but she got it undone, and I came back later on. It had been a year, and it clogged up again. That stuff's bad stuff. But actually, I use the Kirkland brand Septic Safe 2-ply, and as long as you're using lots of water, it's going to flow out just fine. But we do recommend that you do a back flush, put in about 75-80% of water again, and flow it again, because again, it's just gravity feed. That it'll pull stuff, and some of the lighter stuff will tend to remain right at the entrance to the exit going out. And if you put more water back in, it'll actually pull the rest of that stuff out.
Wow. So that's the biggest thing that I always say. I've been living in the RV for 5+ years, all that, and we're not a pro at it at all. But the biggest thing I think the biggest thing that I run into is I'm learning as we go along. And I think that's the biggest thing, right? Yeah. Learning as we go along, and that's the most important thing. So what I suggest, it's important as we play with my camera going back and forth, because I'm so excited the camera can't keep up with me. But But the biggest thing is, hey, I truly, I know you guys are great at take care of your tanks, but like I said, it's like a tune-up in a car. That's not really a good word for a car, but it's also doing maintenance for a normal thing. Hey, a year, 6 months. Hey, these do at least once a year to reassure that you're doing a good job, and that's all we're asking. And I took this time out of my day to do this the second time I filmed because I messed up the first time. But the biggest thing, I think this is important to keep in mind, because I had friends that messed up. He wasn't joking about the poop pyramid. I had a guy who left his tank open for 7 months. Man, that was a heavy poop pyramid. You got to take care of your tanks, and they're mobile. They end up coming to your place, look at it, read about it, do your own research. But I tell you right away, it's it's better than having it clogged up and having somebody come and pressure wash it, almost like a car, pressure wash all the and cleaning all this stuff out. At least you feel better, especially if you don't live here for. Some of you guys been in your rigs for say 7 years and never did it, and I trust you're doing okay. I trust that you have a backup, but boy, do you really want a backup? Do you really want to wait till the last second to have that happen? Why not do a little maintenance? And it's not it's a reasonable price, So I think it's worth it. We're going to start doing more often, especially. I think it's just smart, right?
Yeah, it is to get annual. Just a peace of mind, knowing that your tanks are clean, that there's not going to be stuff crawling out of that tank, the stink's not going to be coming upon you, and some people are sensitive to mold. Knowing that the mold is out of those tanks and not going to. Sometimes you come into the trailer, I feel sick, I feel, you don't know what's going on, but that could be your tanks are just breeding stuff in there, and regular maintenance will help keep those problems down. And if you respond to this, and I schedule stuff when I'm in that location, that area in the Central California area, because I could be, like I'm going up to Carson City this Saturday for a week, but I'll be back down in Manteca, and I'll come up this way frequently. And when I'm in the area, just respond and say, hey, that you saw the video here and I'm in the area, we'll knock $50 off of our normal price to take care of you guys.
And I will put the information of his telephone. I will even put it on in this video that I will put his information, a picture of even his signs, so you could actually see that.
Yeah.
But I just think it's important that we take this time to share this. And even if you don't want to do it, man, pass it on to a buddy or friends, because who you think are doing a really bad job, and maybe you're saving them a lot of money.
Yeah, my card's up in the office, and
we're at French Camp RV Camp in Manteca. He travels all over the valley as well, but that's where we're at right now, is French Camp RV in Manteca.
Right.
But like I said, I will make sure I put the information so some of you guys who are staying at the French Camp RV, you could go up to the office and get the card and all that. But at the same time, I will still have the information on the video, and we could take care of this. So that's the main thing, that we want to take this extra time and effort. It might not be as exciting that you want to hear about the poop stories and all that, the craziness. I'm sure he has a lot of stories about that. Maybe when he's cleaning your tank, he could tell you those stories. But I'm okay. All right. But like I said, so I want to thank you guys for tuning in, watching this. I will show my Jayco Pinnacle, so you know that I'm not making this up. I will show you a little highlight of my Pinnacle of him working on it real quick at the end. And like I said, this is the best time that you could do for yourself, your family. And I know that smell gets brutal if you don't clean your tanks. It's pretty bad. So, well, I want to thank you. Anything else you want to say before you leave today?
Well, I thank you for your time and effort to film everything and get this word out to everybody. Again, even if you're not at French Camp, if you're within my Central California area that I service, mention that you saw this video here, and I'll give you $50 off of your cleaning.
And like I said, you could catch her on Rhymes Times Thoughts you could catch her on YouTube, you could catch her on Twitter. You could catch my Instagram. I will post this on my YouTube channel. I will throw out a little on the Twitter, this as well. So it's not about following me at all. It's all about just getting really important information. So I don't even care if you guys follow me at all. I think it's just a good idea just to have some information. And this is a little different. You hear about poop pyramid, and it's not about you, your poop pyramid. But I will laugh at you if it is. But other than that, you guys, thank you for joining Rhymes Times Thoughts. Thank you for hanging out with me. Other than that, you guys have a great day. Have a great rest of the year, and we hope to see you guys soon. Bye for now.